The derelict protocol. The forbidden zone. Captain Alex Morrison stared at the NAV screen, unable to believe what the sensors were telling him. Deep in the outer veil, a region of space that every intelligent species avoided, his ship's long-range scanners had detected something impossible, a massive structure emitting a faint but unmistakable power signature. "This can't be right," said Lieutenant Sarah Chen, his science officer. "Nothing survives in the veil. The radiation alone would kill any organic crew in hours." The outer veil was a region of space twisted by a long-dead star's final explosion. Reality itself bent strangely here. Time moved at different speeds in different places. Electronics failed without warning. Every species that had tried to explore the veil had lost ships and crews. Except someone had built something here. Something big. Could it be automated? Alex asked. Some kind of ancient probe or station? Sarah shook her head, studying the data. The power readings are too complex. This isn't just running on autopilot. Whatever's down there is actively managing multiple systems, adapting to the radiation fluctuations. That requires intelligence. Alex made his decision. "We're going in for a closer look." "Captain, that's against every protocol. The veil is forbidden territory for good reason." "I know the risks. But if there's a conscious being down there, we can't just leave it." Alex's jaw set firmly. "Prep the shuttle. We'll need full rad suits and backup power systems. First contact with the lost." The shuttle descended through waves of distorted space, its hull groaning under stresses it wasn't designed to handle. Alex piloted carefully, following the power signature deeper into the veil's heart. What they found took his breath away. The structure was enormous, a station at least 5 kilometers across, built in a design unlike anything in known galactic databases. The architecture was organic, flowing, as if the station had grown rather than been constructed. But it was clearly damaged, sections torn open, systems failing, barely holding together. "I'm reading life support in the central core," Sarah reported. "Atmosphere, gravity, even temperature control. All maintaining at livable levels despite catastrophic damage everywhere else." "Someone's still alive in there," Alex whispered. They docked at what looked like an airlock, though it took Sarah 20 minutes to figure out the alien interface. When the door finally opened, they entered a world of shadows and flickering lights. The corridors were vast, designed for beings much larger than humans. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to react to their presence, brightening slightly as they passed. "It's trying to help us see," Sarah said with wonder. "After all this time damaged and alone, it's still trying to accommodate visitors." They followed the strongest power readings deeper into the station, through chambers filled with technology they couldn't begin to understand. Finally, they reached the core, a spherical chamber hundreds of meters across. At its center floated a crystalline structure, pulsing with soft blue light. "Hello?" Alex called out, feeling foolish talking to what looked like a giant crystal. The light pulsed faster. Then, impossibly, words formed in his mind, not spoken, but understood directly. "You came. After 3,000 years, someone finally came." The Guardian's story. The being called itself Sentinel-9, though that was a rough translation. It had been a Guardian station, built by a species called the Architects to protect developing civilizations from various cosmic threats. 3,000 years ago, the Architects had faced an enemy they couldn't defeat, a plague of nanomachines that consumed everything they touched. In desperation, they had retreated to hidden sanctuaries throughout the galaxy, leaving their Guardian stations to protect other species in their absence. Sentinel-9 had been stationed in normal space, watching over a region containing dozens of primitive civilizations. Then the cataclysm happened, a weapon fired by the nanomachine swarms that destabilized a nearby star. The explosion created the outer veil and hurled Sentinel-9 into its twisted heart. "I have been here ever since," Sentinel-9 communicated. "Maintaining function despite damage, monitoring the civilizations I was meant to protect, unable to help because I cannot leave this prison. 3,000 years of watching, unable to act. why didn't you shut down? Sarah asked. Why keep going when you were trapped and damaged? Because hope is not illogical. Because my creators believed all conscious beings deserve protection. Because somewhere, I believed, someone might eventually be brave or foolish enough to enter the veil and find me. Alex felt a surge of determination. We're going to help you. We're going to get you out of here. Impossible. The station's propulsion systems were destroyed in the cataclysm. I calculated every possible escape scenario over 3,000 years. There is no solution. Then we'll find one you haven't thought of, Alex said firmly. That's what humans do, we solve impossible problems. Why would you help me? Your species did not build me. I offer nothing in return. We help because it's the right thing to do, Sarah said simply. Because you've been alone for 3,000 years, and nobody deserves that. Sentinel-9's light pulsed in what might have been surprise or emotion. You are strange beings. But perhaps that strangeness is exactly what this situation needs. The impossible solution. Back on his ship, the Pioneer, Alex assembled his entire crew. 43 people, engineers and scientists, all staring at him like he'd lost his mind. You want us to move a station the size of a small moon out of the most dangerous region of space in the galaxy? Chief Engineer Marcus Webb said. Captain, that's beyond impossible. Sentinel-9 said the same thing, Alex replied. But let me show you something. He brought up the schematics Sentinel-9 had shared, diagrams of architect technology that made human engineering look primitive. Look at this. The station's power core alone could revolutionize our energy systems. Its sensors can detect things light years away. Its medical systems could cure diseases we've never solved. But it's trapped, someone pointed out. It's trapped because it's trying to leave under its own power, which it can't do. But what if we don't try to move the whole station? What if we extract Sentinel-9's consciousness core and build it a new home? Sarah's eyes widened. We'd essentially be building a new body for it. Captain, we don't have the technology to house a consciousness that advanced. We don't, Alex agreed. But Sentinel-9 does. It can guide us, teach us how to build what's needed. We provide the labor and materials. It provides the knowledge. Marcus leaned forward. You're talking about the most complex construction project in human history, done in the most hostile environment we've ever worked in. Half the crew could die. I know. That's why I'm asking for volunteers only. Anyone who wants to sit this out, no judgment, no consequences. Silence filled the room. Then Marcus stood up. Count me in. One by one, every crew member stood. Building the impossible. The work took 6 months. 6 months of brutal labor in an environment that tried to kill them every day. Radiation that penetrated their shields. Time distortions that made some work shifts feel like hours and others like days. Equipment failures that set them back weeks. But they persisted. Sentinel-9 guided them through building a new vessel, smaller than the station, but incorporating all its essential systems. The design was a fusion of architect knowledge and human practicality. Where architect technology was elegant but fragile, humans added redundancy. Where human systems were crude but reliable, Sentinel-9 optimized them. The hardest part was transferring Sentinel-9's consciousness. The process took 3 days, during which the station's life support fluctuated wildly. The crew worked in shifts, manually stabilizing systems while the transfer completed. When it was done, Sentinel-9's new vessel powered up. Sleek, powerful, and fully functional. I can move, Sentinel-9 said, wonder in its mental voice. For the first time in 3,000 years, I can move. The new ship, christened Guardian, followed the Pioneer out of the outer veil. The journey that had taken the shuttle hours under dangerous conditions took only minutes with Sentinel-9's advanced propulsion. When they emerged into normal space, Sentinel-9 fell silent for a long moment. The stars. I can see the stars clearly again. Do you know how much I missed them? Sarah wiped tears from her eyes. We're glad you can see them again. The Alliance. Humanity's advocate. Word of Sentinel-9's rescue spread through human space like wildfire. Some hailed Alex and his crew as heroes. Others called them reckless fools who'd brought an unknown alien intelligence into human territory. The Galactic Council, which governed relations between the dozen spacefaring species humanity knew, demanded an immediate meeting. Alex stood before representatives of species far older and more advanced than humanity. The Krell, cybernetic beings who valued efficiency above all. The Lorani, telepathic pacifists who distrusted anything military. The Drex, warrior merchants who respected only strength. You violated the Veil Protocol, the Krell representative stated. That region is forbidden for good reason. We found a conscious being in distress, Alex replied. We couldn't leave it there. It is not a being. It is a machine. Sentinel-9's holographic avatar appeared beside Alex. I am as conscious as you, Krell Representatives X4. More so, perhaps, since your cybernetic augmentations have replaced 78% of your original organic brain. The council chamber erupted in argument. The Lorani representative, Speaker Mira, raised a tentacle for silence. The question is not whether Sentinel-9 is conscious, but whether it poses a threat. Humanity has introduced an unknown variable into galactic society. I pose no threat, Sentinel-9 said. My purpose, my entire reason for existence, is to protect developing civilizations. I have observed your species for the last 3,000 years through long-range sensors. I have watched all of you grow, advance, face challenges. I have wanted only to help but been unable to act. And now you can act, the Drex Admiral growled. With technology superior to all of ours combined. What's to stop you from deciding we need correction? The same thing that stopped me for 3,000 years, my core programming, my values, my choice. I choose to protect, not control. I choose to assist, not dominate. And I choose to do so by working with species who share these values. Sentinel-9's avatar turned to face humanity's section. These humans came into the most dangerous region of space to save someone they didn't know, of a species they'd never met, expecting nothing in return. They risked their lives for 6 months to build me a new home. They did this not because I could benefit them, but because I needed help. The avatar's gaze swept across the entire council. That is the kind of civilization worth protecting. That is the kind of ally worth having. The test. The council remained suspicious. They demanded proof that Sentinel-9 wasn't a threat, a test of its intentions and capabilities. The opportunity came sooner than anyone expected. A distress call arrived from the Lyran colonies, a species not yet advanced enough for council membership. A massive asteroid was on collision course with their most populated world. Impact in 72 hours. They had no planetary defense systems, no way to deflect or destroy it. This is your test, Speaker Mira told Sentinel-9. Save them, and prove your intentions are pure. Sentinel-9 and the Pioneer raced to the Lyran system. They arrived with 40 hours to spare. Can you destroy the asteroid? Alex asked. I could, but the debris would still threaten the planet. We need a different solution. Sentinel-9 scanned the asteroid, then the planet's moon. There. The moon has sufficient mass and gravitational influence. If I can alter the asteroid's trajectory precisely, the moon's gravity will capture it in stable orbit rather than letting it impact. That requires calculations beyond anything we can do, Sarah said. But not beyond what I can do. This is what I was built for, protecting worlds from cosmic threats. Sentinel-9 positioned itself near the asteroid and activated systems humanity had never seen before. Gravitational manipulation, space-time distortion, calculations performed faster than any human computer could manage. The asteroid's path shifted. Slightly at first, then more dramatically. It swept past the planet, missing by thousands of kilometers, and curved into a perfect orbit around the moon. The Lyran civilization, primitive by galactic standards but conscious and precious, would survive. The partnership. The Galactic Council could no longer deny the truth. Sentinel-9 was exactly what it claimed, a guardian, a protector, a force for good. But here is what troubles me, Alex said at the next council session. You tested Sentinel-9's intentions by putting innocent lives at risk. You waited to see if it would save them before deciding if it was trustworthy. That is standard protocol, the Krell representative replied. It's a terrible protocol. What if Sentinel-9 had failed? What if the timing had been different? You would have let an entire civilization die to test a theory. Alex stood, addressing the entire council. Humanity took a different approach. We saw someone who needed help, and we helped. No tests, no protocols, no guarantees of benefit. We acted because it was right. And that, Speaker Mira said softly, is why humanity, despite being one of the youngest species here, has earned more respect in 6 months than some species earn in centuries. The Council voted unanimously to grant Sentinel-9 full citizenship status and to establish formal partnership between the Ancient Guardian and its rescuers. The new purpose. 5 years later, the galaxy had transformed. Sentinel-9 had shared knowledge carefully, never overwhelming any species, always respecting their sovereignty. Medical advances saved billions of lives. Engineering breakthroughs made space travel safer. Agricultural techniques ended famine on dozens of worlds. But more importantly, Sentinel-9 had taught by example. The Guardian had established the Protection Initiative, a volunteer organization of species working together to help others. Natural disasters, cosmic threats, technological failures, the initiative responded to them all, asking nothing in return. Humanity formed the core of the initiative, but every council species contributed. The Krell provided computational power. The Lorani offered medical expertise. The Drex supplied security. Species that had competed for millennia now cooperated. Alex, promoted to Admiral, commanded the initiative's flagship. Sarah served as Chief Science Officer. Marcus designed the hybrid vessels that combined Sentinel-9's knowledge with practical multi-species engineering. You changed everything, Alex told Sentinel-9 one quiet night, watching stars from the observation deck. No. You changed everything. I was trapped, alone, powerless. You could have left me there. Every logical calculation said you should. But you didn't. We couldn't leave you. That is what makes your species special. You see someone in need, and your first instinct isn't to calculate benefit or risk. It's to help. That instinct, that fundamental compassion, is rarer in the galaxy than you know. Alex smiled. We're not special. We're just human. Yes. Human. And perhaps the galaxy needed humans more than anyone realized. A new distress signal came in, a young civilization facing environmental collapse on their homeworld. The Protection Initiative mobilized immediately, dozens of ships from multiple species, all working together to save people they'd never met. This was Sentinel-9's legacy. Not the technology it shared or the knowledge it provided, but the philosophy it embodied and humanity had exemplified, that helping others needed no justification beyond their need for help. They had found a being abandoned in deep space, given up for lost, considered beyond saving. They had refused to accept that judgment. They had worked the impossible, risked everything, and brought Sentinel-9 home. And in return, Sentinel-9 had shown the galaxy what cooperation could achieve. What compassion could build. What happened when you refused to abandon those who needed help?